Okay, so now that we have all of our resources applied, we have no over allocation, everything is all perfect. What we'd like to do is get an idea of what our project might be costing us, get an idea of how many man hours or how many hours worked there are out there, things like that. Just some of the more, I guess, statistical kind of things, right? So I'm going to start out first of all by going back to our resource sheet, all right? So I'm going to go back and jump back over to our resource sheet just like that. And I'm going to, first of all, change the way this is displayed. Now, right now, we're in a particular view. We're in a resource sheet view, but the resource sheet view has other views, okay, like sub-views of it, right? So there's different versions of the resource sheet. And one of them allows us to see, I mean, this one lets us, this one's basically what we call the entry screen. There's another view called the cost screen, all right, or there's cost. And what we can do is this. We go over here to the View tab, all right, and there's this area here called Tables. And when we click onto that, these are all of the other views that we have, right? So right now we're in the entry view, meaning this is where we usually go to enter in our resources, entry, right? So if we click on the cost, though, it changes up a little bit. So now we're able to see, and I'll just kind of stretch this out a little bit more, we're able to see all of our resources and basically the cost that they have posed to our project. So as many times as we've used Clutch and Gomez and anybody else here, this is what the numbers are. And pretty much that's it. That's really all that you're seeing there. All right. Now, what you can also do, and because let's go back to what we were talking about before a while back. When we enter these guys, let me just go back to the other view here. Oop. We had entered in group names. In other words, the first few reps there, they're in the hourly groups or the hour groups. These guys are in the teams, that type of thing, right? We just came up with these names. You can come up with any name you want. Now, what I can do, though, is when I'm back over here in the cost view, all right, I can then go into my group area here and tell it that I want to go with the resource group. I want to group it in resource group. So I click on that, and it does that for me. So it shows me my hourly group, which are our first four reps there, shows you the individual dollar amounts that they have posed or that they're costing our project. And it also shows the subtotal for that group. So hourly, material. So this is kind of interesting. This is showing how much dollar-wise we've expended on the project as far as materials go, you know, our Maui misting and our widget bits and so forth. And you see all the rest of them in here as well. I think that's pretty cool stuff there. Now I can go in here and I can click on this little drop down arrow here and tell it I want to go from largest to smallest, something like that. So what'll happen is in each of the groups it'll go from large to small, and so forth. So it gives you an idea of what we've got there. We never did quite use any of the these other miscellaneous costing ones, but I think you get the idea of how they're used. So pretty good stuff there. Now I can also modify this a little bit as well. I can add additional fields to this view here, right? Now the rest of the stuff that you see here, this is all stuff that we would be referring to later on when we establish a baseline and start tracking our project. We're going to be doing that in later videos. But at this point, though, what we want to do is maybe add another field to this, right? So what we can do here is we can do a right click over here and go to Insert Column. And there's a field towards the very bottom here called Work. And this actually shows how many hours each of those reps has been assigned. I mean, that's pretty wild stuff there. So when it comes to the hourly people, we have 968 hours of work. The groups don't get that, so we don't get to see them. But you look at the very bottom, our teams that we had, which were just, you know, regular workers or work type, you know, resources, right? So you'll see it down there as well. But I just like the idea of saying, okay, here's Ray Donovan. He is working 376 hours. He might be on, you know, 5, 10, 15, 20 different tasks, but they total up as far as the amount of work that he's doing to that many man hours. Okay, so now let's go another route here. Let's go back now to our Gantt chart. Now let's take a look at this one. I would like to know, I mean, before we saw with our resources how much they were costing us, right? And how many hours were worked. It'd be kind of interesting to see how many, you know, how much each of these tasks are costing us. In other words, we have all these resources applied to the task. The resources are costing us whatever dollar amounts. I want to know what that is, right? So I can actually modify our Gantt chart with those same kind of fields that we saw earlier over in the resource sheet. So I think what we'll do is we'll leave duration where it's at, but I'll go over to here, do a right click on that, and go with insert column. And we're going to first of all do the hours. So I'll go all the way to the bottom here, get the work, right? So this is what you're seeing there now when it comes to task AA, 4 days worth of work, one person's on it, 32 hours. On this one, we have 2 days of work, which is 16 hours of work, right? I mean, given one person working on it, but because we have 2 people on it, 32 hours. I mean, it's very interesting stuff. So we can actually see our entire project is 3,416 hours of man-hour works, right? Phase 1 alone, 516 hours. Alpha, 276 hours. Not bad. Now, I want to see the cost, the dollars. Right-click this one, right? Insert column. Now, in this one, we're going to go with the one called cost. We choose that. There we go. So now that's showing us the total cost of the project, phase 1, alpha, and then the individual ones. All in there. Now what we can also do is we can apply a filter to this. Now watch this. Over in the cost area here, I can click on that little drop down arrow, go to filters and say, okay, I want to see only those tasks that are greater than, and let's say maybe greater than, let's say $3,000. All right, so 3,000. Hit OK, and there we go. So whatever that would mean, you know, it's something to look at there, something to analyze. Now, if you want to clear it, we just go back in there and clear the filter from cost, and it goes back to where it was. If I want to see those tasks that exceeded, let's say, 30 hours, I can go to this one here, filters, and here we have 8 hours or less, between 8 and 40 hours, 40 hours or more, or I can just say greater than, and I'll just say 40 in there. So however you want to do it. Hit OK, there we go. Pretty interesting. And then again, you can see there's a little filter icon in there that lets you know that you've got a filter on that. Go back in there, clear the filter, we're back to square one. I can also do the same thing with the filtering on here, right? I can go up there and I can say something to the effect of, I want to see just my critical tasks. So I can go here and click on the critical, and there would be the critical ones. Let me just hit my task and hit my little goal to there, and then we can see that a little bit more. So there we go on that. And then again, you can then apply, you can put the filters that we've been doing before on this as well. And then later on, when you want to go back to seeing everything, we just go back, click on the drop down, no filter. Now it goes back to where it was. So now we've got the task and scroll over. Okay, that's good. All right, excellent. So hopefully this this comes in handy for what you're doing. I think it's, if anything, it's interesting, especially if you are keeping track of your costs. It kind of gives you kind of an eye opener as to where the most expensive tasks are, or what the most man-hour intensive tasks are. They can see that all right here. So pretty cool stuff. I appreciate you watching the video. Take care.